this wooden pasta container just lying around the house and we literally never used it, so I thought it'd be nice to just spice it up a bit and use it to keep something else in. I don't know why yet. I started by making some rough guidelines at the bottom of the box in pencil and then painted each alternate part white. And I probably should have sanded it down beforehand, and I realised how smooth it was at this point, but I was too far gone, so forget about it. And then once the white part was finished and the paint had dried, I painted the squares that weren't already painted in black. And this is what that part looked like when it was finished. And this is me showcasing it in a rotisserie fashion. I then painted the first side of the box blue, which was pretty wild of me because I hadn't even decided what I wanted to do with it yet. And it was quite tricky to make sure that the blue parts didn't get all on the freshly painted black and white bits, purely down to the fact that I used an obnoxiously big paintbrush and refused to find something smaller. And I also decided that I didn't want the design to be the same on all four sides, so I made the decision to add a bit more of the black and white design into the mix. So I decided to have two sides that would be almost entirely black and white, and then two sides that would be mostly a blue design. And then to tie it all together, I also made the lower centre part of the sides that I painted black and white blue, if that makes sense. Like this. And then once all the sides were completely dry, I used a little cutting from a sponge to sponge on some silver paint all around the edges of the blue parts. It took a few different layers and quite a bit of patience, but I got there in the end, and I added a little bit of black into the corners just to give it a bit more depth and pizzazz. And I did pretty much the same for the small blue parts on the front and back, and then touched up any messy parts with a paintbrush. So on the back I decided to go with a simple swirly pattern design in black paint, and I didn't really bother with penciling this out first this time, purely because I knew that I'd only ignore my pencil marks anyway in this kind of situation, because I always get carried away. And this is the back complete. So then I drew out a design onto a piece of scrap paper and cut it out with the sharpest knife that I had available to me, and made a template. So I spent a little bit of time considering where to place it on the box, and then just went at it with a sponge and some silver paint. Pretty much the same way that I did the edges. I struggled a bit the first time around with this particular one, because the paint got underneath the template a little bit, which really annoyed me, but what are you gonna do? So that's this side finished, and then a little glimpse at the back. And then I pretty much did the same on the other side, but put the template in slightly different places because I wanted to. And I liked this side so much better, it just worked way better. So it took me a while to decide what I wanted to put on the front of the box. And although it's probably a relatively obvious choice. I drew up this little flower design in pencil, and then went for a nice bright pink for the colour to contrast with the bright blue of the box. And I used a teensy little brush to get in all the details. I liked painting this part the most because it was quite relaxing. And then once I'd finished painting the flower, I decided to go for a little bit of fancy black decor around the edges, just to bring it all together with the rest of the box. And so now there's swirls on the front and swirls on the back. And then once all the painted design was dry, I just finished it off with some fine liner pen, just to bring the details out. And this is it finished. So here I'll show you all the angles. I really hope you liked it, and yeah, maybe consider subscribing, drop me a comment and let me know what you think. And here's a clip of me awkwardly rotating the box so you can get a better look. Yep, they can see it. Oh. Okay, that's enough.